Welcome to Module 3 of SPED 150, Completing the IEP, Pulling it all together. This is the final week of the course, and the core question we are sitting with is, how do we complete an IEP that is specific enough to be the students, strong enough to hold up to scrutiny, and honest enough to actually guide what happens after the bell rings? Those three criteria are not rhetorical. They are the standard your IEP will be held to. Specific enough to be the students, not any students, the students. Strong enough to hold up to scrutiny, meaning it would survive an Indicator 13 review. Honest enough to actually guide practice, meaning the people who open it after graduation can use it. Module 3 is where everything converges. The conceptual foundation for Module 1 and the assessment and planning work from Module 2 now come together in the final, complete, transition-focused IEP for your case study student. The majority of your time this week is spent writing, revising, and strengthening your IEP. Content instruction is targeted and directly tied to what you're writing, not separate from it. 3 content threads run through this week. First, self-determination instruction, what it means to design a plan that prepares a student to take the lead in their own education. Second, the summary of performance, what it is, who uses it, and how to write one that actually serves the student after they leave your building. An exit planning tool, not a compliance afterthought. Third, transition services coordination, how to connect students and families to the right agencies before the clock runs out. Module 3 is the final chapter of a 3-part arc. Module 1 built the why, the legal foundation, the outcomes data, and the student voice that makes this work meaningful. Module 2 built the how, the assessment framework, the IEP writing process, and the group collaboration structure. Module 3 asks you to bring it all together, to complete a document that reflects everything you have learned and everything you know about your case study student. 2 submissions close this module and this course. First, your final transition-focused IEP, the key assessment worth 75 points submitted via SPED forms. Second, your individual professional practice reflection worth 25 points submitted separately. Together, these 2 documents represent what you know, what you've built, and who you are becoming as a transition teacher. Both are due Sunday of week 3, 11:59 p.m. If you have any questions before then, please reach out. These are the 6 course learning outcomes. In Module 3, you will notice that Learning Outcome 1, the legal foundations outcome, remains in the background. That work was done in Module 1, and it continues to inform everything you write. The primary focus this week is Learning Outcomes 2 through 6. Learning Outcome 2, Transition Assessment, is present in Module 3 in the form of your present levels. The strength of your present levels depends on how well you use the assessment framework in Module 2. This week, you are asked to go back and make sure the data is doing the work that it needs to do. Learning Outcome 3, Writing the IEP, is central task the entire module. Everything else this week serves it. Learning Outcome 4, Applying the principles of self-determination. And Learning Outcomes 5 and 6, Family participation and community connections, are present in your coordinated transition service section. The transition-focused IEP is the key assessment for this course. 75 points due Sunday at 11:59 p.m. submitted via SPED forms. Before you submit, I want to walk you through the final audit checklist. This is not optional, it's the professional standard. First, confirm your present levels is grounded in case study assessment data, not general statements about students' disability category. Specific data-based, student-specific present levels that connect directly to post-secondary goals. Second, confirm your post-secondary goals are measurable in all required domains: post-secondary education and training, employment, and independent living. Post-secondary goals are the most frequently cited compliance failure in Indicator 13 reviews. Check them carefully. Third, confirm coordinated transition services are present with agency connections. Fourth, confirm annual IEP goals are explicitly, not vaguely, connected to the post-secondary goals. Fifth, confirm your self-determination plan is present and traceable to assessment evidence in the student's stated vision. And before you hit submit, review the IEP capstone rubric. Use it as a self-audit. If there is criterion you cannot confidently check off, that is the section that needs to be worked on before you submit it Sunday. Professional practice reflection is an individual assessment, 25 points, 1 page, submitted separately from your IEP. It is also due Sunday at 11:59 p.m. 3 prompts, each requires honesty. Prompt 1, ask what specific sections of the IEP you led and what you learned from writing them. This is about what you specifically took ownership of and what it taught you. Prompt 2 asks, if you could revise one section before it went to a real IEP team, what would you change and why? This is a prompt about professional judgment, but not failure. The best transition educators are the ones who can look at their own work and say clearly and specifically what they would do differently. Prompt 3 asks for one concrete commitment, one thing you would do differently in your first real transition IEP meeting, and one honest acknowledgement, one thing you still need to learn. That second part, naming what you do not yet know, it's not a weakness. It is the mark of a professional who will keep on getting better. Honesty and specificity, that is the standard. Here's your week 3 checklist. Your final week, organized by what needs to happen and when. In your read column, putting the promise of the Olmsted plan into practice, pages 7, 10 through 12, 20 through 31, 33 to the top of 35. This provides a great deal of insight into why transition is so important. In What to Watch, the video overview, which you're watching now for Module 3, and the Module 3 lecture. In What to check out the MDE webpage for the Olmsted Plan. There's a lot of links there. The Olmsted Plan is the broad series of key activities that our state must accomplish to ensure people with disabilities are living, learning, working, and enjoying life in the most integrated setting. Also look at and explore the Youth in Transition Framework on disabilityhubmn.org. This is a wealth of resources for you to have access to throughout your entire career. In the Submit Individually column, the professional practice reflection for 25 points and your transition IEP for 75 points. Everything is due Sunday, week 3, 11:59 p.m. This is where we close. The IEP you submit this week is not a class exercise. It is a model of the kind of document that changes outcomes for students with disabilities when it is done well. A transition-focused IEP that is specific, compliant, student-centered, and grounded in real assessment data. That document does not just satisfy a course requirement. It demonstrates what you are capable of as a transition teacher. Hold it to that standard. The professional practice reflection is not a formality. It is a chance to be genuinely honest about what you built, what you would do differently, and what you still need to learn. The most effective transition educators I know are the ones who never stop asking that last question. They walk into every IEP meeting knowing what they know and knowing what they do not know. That combination is what makes someone good at this work. You came into this course with a commitment to the students and the families you serve. That commitment is why you are here. You leave with foundational knowledge of the law and the research, with practical experience writing a real transition-focused IEP, and with a clearer sense of who you are going to be in the IEP room. What you do with that in your first meeting or in your 100th meeting is what matters the most. We are glad that you are here for these 3 weeks, so go do good work.